sensory system, we discussed about the receptors, we discussed about the sensation, we described about the specialized sensory organ. Now it's time to discuss about the ear. Okay? So from your previous classes, you know about the ear. Ear is an organ of hearing. Ear is organ of hearing. You know that lower organism, they don't have the ears. Okay? They don't have the ear. So how they live in this environment? They live by the specialized structure. Some of them are able to, we can say, respond towards the chemical stimuli. Okay, some of have, we can say, rudimentary ear. Okay, some of them have not well differentiated ear. But as in the case of us as a humans, we have like fully formed or mature ear. Okay, we have the mature ear. How many ears we have? 2. Okay, we have the 2 ear. Now first we will draw the diagram of ear and then describe it. Okay, then describe it. These are the cochlea. Okay. Now you have tympanic membrane. Okay, and this is your middle ear, tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane is, did you heard about the ossicles, ear ossicles? The bone of the ear. How many bones ear possess? 3. Okay, starting from malleus. Okay, they are joined, they are attached with basically the tympanic membrane, the malleus. Then we have incus. Okay, then we have incus, and then we have the smallest bone in our body. Step is very good. Then we have the stapes. Okay, and this is your ear. This is your ear. See, this part of ear is called as, what? Pinna or auricle. Pinna or auricle. This is your ear pinna. Very good. Ear pinna. Do you seen someone who are able to move their auricle? Do you seen? Okay, like in us, the muscles which form this ear pinna, or we can say this is mainly a fibrous cartilage. This is made up of the ear pinna is made up of the fibrous cartilage. It can be asked in MCQ. Fibrocartilage. So I seen one of my friends, they are able to move their ear pinna, and I was like surprised how they are doing. Okay, the fact is the muscles which help in the formation of this ear pinna, they are not fully matured. Okay, they are rudimentary, and some of them have the genetic, we can say, the type of inheritance by which they can move their ear pinna. Just like awesome, no? But yeah, lower animals can do. Lower animals can move their ear pinna. That's one of the sign they are using. One of the sign. Okay, now when we see this is a auricle, okay, and the function of auricle, sound, okay, collect all the sound and avoid the unnecessary sound, okay. To function, first thing about the ear pinna, they are also called as auricle, they are also called as auricles. Clear? They collect the sound and transmit towards the, we can say, the middle ear or internal ears, okay. Now your ear, they are divisible, they are divisible for, we can say, facilitation of study, ease of study. We are divided the ear into the three types. Can you name them quickly? External ear, very good. Then you have middle ear, very good. If you know something, then show your confidence. No, your voice should be louder. Middle ear, okay, and then inner ear. Fine? Inner ear, okay. Now, the external ear, they possess two things. Is it visible? Is it visible? Okay. External ear possesses two things. The outer, we discussed our ear pinna, okay, the pinna, and external acoustic canal. External, we can say, acoustic or external auditory meters. External auditory meters. See, it's a external otis meters. External otis meters. The function of this external otis meters is that they possess sebaceous gland. They possess sebaceous gland and seridium gland. Do you heard about your earwax? Earwax, okay. Earwax are kind of, we can say, the oily substance. It's a oily substance, and sebum is also a kind of oily fluid, okay. They are involved in the lubrication of, first of all, the surfaces of the ear, okay, underlying epithelial, and they also help in trapping the microbes, okay, trapping the microbes and dust, okay. And sometimes it's happened that due to the overproduction of the cerebellum gland, see, they possess the two things, as I said. The first one is your cerebellum gland, okay, and another one is your sebaceous gland. So sometimes what happened, if you see this cerebellum is secreted, okay, and if you not wash it, then there is something called impacted cerebellum, okay. A person have not the ability to hear the properly the sound, and it can permanently block the earways. Understanding? Now you have the middle ear, okay. Middle ear contain auditory ossicles, auditory muscle, and statuation tube, okay. What they contain? The three things. First is your auditory ossicles. You have three auditory ossicles, as you said. The first one is called malleus, incus, and stapes, okay. Malleus, write down, malleus, incus, and stapes, okay. Then you have two muscles in the ear. Associated with this bone. They are collectively called as auditory. They are called as auditory muscles. The name of these auditory muscles is very important. The first one is tensor tympani, and second one is your stapedius muscle. Tensor tympani, okay, and smallest muscles of our body. Is stapedius muscle, okay. Then we have one more thing that called the auditory tube. tube. Okay, that's the part of middle ear. Understanding? Now you have internal inner ear. You have inner ear. Inner ear possesses mainly the cochlea. They possess the cochlea. Okay, and cochlea, this is your cochlea. If you cut the section of this cochlea, okay, cut the section of cochlea, you will find some of the, we can say, a special kind of arrangement of the cell. Okay, basically it contains the membranes. And inside this membrane there is one organ that's called the organ of Corti. This organ of Corti is basically an organ in which there is a special arrangement of some of the hair cells and other, we can say, the accessory cells. Okay, these mainly the hair cells which is present in the organ of Corti, they are categorized into the two types. Okay, the first is called inner hair cell. Okay, and another group is called outer hair cell. These inner hair cells, they are joined, okay, or they are attached with the auditory nerve. Understanding? And the function of outer hair cell is that they amplify the low sounds. Okay, that's the organ of Corti. This is your tympanic membrane. And you know this is your which bone? Malleus. This is your incus. This is your stapes. Okay, this is called utricles. Okay, and this is called saccules. Understood? Now, this is your middle ear, this is your Eustachian tube. This is your Eustachian tube, or we can say the auditory tube. The function of auditory tube is Yes, say balance of air. Also helping in the resonating of the sound. Now, once again, we'll define what we studied. We discussed the ear, okay, and in the ear we said ear is a divisible into three convenient parts. The first is called external ear, second one is called middle ear, third one is called the inner ear. The external ear comprises of the outer part pinna, and another one is external auditory meatus. The function of ear pinna is collecting the sound, okay, and this pinna is made up of basically the fibrocartilage. Then we studied that the another part of external ear is our external auditory meatus. These external auditory meatus basically perform two things. They have this, we can say, the sebaceous gland, okay, and senior gland, okay. They have basically the senior gland, okay. Now senior gland secreted the earwax or senium, okay. They secrete the earwax. The function of earwax is the lubricating and trapping the microbes, or we can say the dust, okay. And the sebaceous gland also secrete the sebum, okay, and it's also helping the lubricating and trapping of the microbes. Sometimes what happens, this senium, they are over produced, okay, and they block this area, and person are unable to hear properly. That condition is called impacted senium, okay. Now then we come into the middle ear area. Middle ear basically possesses the three things. First one is these ossicles. The bones which is present in the ear, they are called as ear ossicle. The first bone is malleus, okay. Then we have the hammer-shaped bone, incus. Then we have one stapes. Stapes is called as the smallest bone, okay. And we have some of the muscles. First one is called tensor tympani. Since these bones, they have to be attached to this membrane. So once the sound wave strike on this membrane, these will vibrate in a proper fashion. Okay, they will vibrate in a proper order. Understanding? So they are attached by the two muscles. The first one is called tensor tympani, second one is called the smallest bone, stapedius. Okay, understanding clear? Then in middle ear also possesses the auditory tube, and the function of auditory tube is making the balance of the air in the middle ear. Okay. Then we have the internal ear. Internal ear basically consists of the uterus, sacules and cochlea. Okay, this cochlea contain one organ that's called the organ of Corti. Organ of Corti possesses the two kind of cells, inner hair cells and outer hair cell. Inner hair cells is basically joined or connected with the auditory nerves. Okay, and outer hair cell is basically helping to amplifying the sound. Once you understood the anatomy or the functions of the parts of the ear, now we move ahead and define how we are hearing. Okay, the mechanism of hearing. Till here, if you have any doubt? No? Clear? Okay. Now, mechanism of hearing. As we understood that the nerves which are connected with the ear, that's called the auditory nerve. This auditory cranial nerve, they will go to where? They will go to the nervous system. They will go to the nervous system. So we have to define the auditory pathways. We have to define first the auditory pathways, then we will move ahead or discuss the mechanism of hearing. So auditory pathways. So for defining the auditory pathways, I have to draw once again the diagram, the diagram of central nervous system. See. Okay, this is the anterior section of your central nervous system. Okay, anterior section of the central nervous. This is your cerebrum. Okay, cerebrum. This is your pons, medulla, spinal cord, and cerebellum is present in the posterior aspect. Understanding? Now, you have ear. As you told, you have the two ears. You have two ears, isn't it? You have two ears. Okay. The auditory nerves, they comes they make the crossing. Okay. These are the nuclei. I will name them. They are the nuclei. And it's diagram I have to draw a bit longer. This auditory nerve comes, okay, they make the cross section, okay, then the ascending pathways, they go to these are the temporal lobe. So first thing you remember, you just understand the higher center of hearing. The higher center of hearing, okay, is your temporal cortex. Okay, temporal cortex. This is your auditory nerves. This is your auditory nerve. Okay, auditory nerves. Then the auditory nerve, okay, and originally they are what? Cranial name wise they are a vestibulocochlear nerve. They are a vestibulocochlear nerve. Don't forget they are a vestibulocochlear nerve. These are called trapezoid. These are called the trapezoid nucleus, and they come to the auditory cortex area. Auditory cortex area. Auditory temporal cortex area. Clear? This is your the pathways. And if you talk about their names, then this nucleus is called the trapezoid body. This is called your trapezoid body. Trapezoid body. Then you have another nucleus, okay, and this nucleus is called superior alveolar nucleus. Superior olive nucleus. Clear? And then you have this area is called inferior brachium. This is called inferior brachium. And then they goes to the temporal cortex. Temporal cortex. So remember, the temporal cortex is concerned with the hearing. It is concerned with the hearing. There are two areas. There are two areas in the temporal cortex. The first area is called primary cortex. Okay, primary auditory cortex, and second is called the very good secondary auditory cortex. This auditory cortex is concerned. This auditory cortex is concerned with the analyzing the intensity of sound. Analyzing the intensity of the sound. You know that you have to differentiate. Like someone is speaking and it is a animal. Someone is speaking, it is a human, it is a cat. You are able to differentiate that it's a human sound. It means your brain should analyze. Okay, so this area, the primary cortex, primary auditory cortex, temporal auditory cortex, is the area where this analysis of the sound is performed. Okay, then this is a concern with the perception of auditory impulse. Okay, and the secondary area, they possess area number 22, and one area that's called the Wernicke's area. This Wernicke's area and area number 22, they analyze. Okay, they analyze and they make differentiation. They make the differentiation. Are we able to see it? Yeah. So the temporal cortex, they are divisible into the two areas, the primary auditory area and secondary auditory area. The primary auditory area is mainly concerned with the perception of auditory impulse, whereas the secondary auditory area is divisible into two parts, area 22 and Wernicke's area. The Wernicke's area, they analyze and differentiate the sound, okay, by the help of area 22. And if there is any lesion in this pathway, okay, that lead to the deafness, or we can say the loss of hearing capability. Any lesion, any injury, any trauma can lead to the deafness. Okay, they lead to the deafness. And sometimes the hair cell which is present, right now we are talking about the applied physiology. Okay, the two things you should remember: the lesion, okay, it can lead to the loss of hearing, or we can say the deafness, understanding. and sometimes what happens, the hair cell, okay, they degenerate, and that condition is called presbycusis. Okay, this is basically age related problem where the person loses gradually the hearing capability. So this is your auditory pathway. Now we will move ahead and describe the last topic, that's called the mechanism of hearing. Is it difficult to understand? Easy? Okay. Now we will define the mechanism of hearing. Mechanism of hearing. So mechanism of hearing, it's easy to understand. First, sound waves. Okay, sound wave, they come through your pinna or auricle. Okay, then they goes through the where? Yeah, auditory canal. Very good, auditory canal. Then they hit the tympanic membrane. See, sound wave, they change now into the form of another energy. Okay, the sound wave now when they hit to the tympanic membrane, they change, and you know that tympanic membrane, they are attached with the ear ossicles. So ear ossicles vibrate. Okay, vibration of ossicles of ear, and the ear ossicles, they are attached, they move the fluid of cochlea. Cochlea possesses one kind of fluid, that's called the perilymph. And due to this movement of the perilymph, the hair cell will move and electromagnetic signals will generate. So the perilymph, okay, we can say vibration in perilymph, and which cell? Internal hair cell. Okay, hair cells, it is present in the organ of corti. Hair cells, and then there is a generation of, you know that hair cell is attached with the auditory nerve. Okay, or we can say the vestibular cochlear nerve. The vestibular cochlear nerve are two types. Remember, the vestibule part is concerned with the balancing. Okay, it's concerned with the balancing, whereas the cochlear part is concerned with the hearing. Okay, so the cochlear nerve, they generate the, we can say, the action potential, and then cochlear nerve, through this pathway, they goes to the temporal cortex. Okay, and then the sound is analyzed and then received. Understanding? So let's conclude today's class. We discussed about the sensory system. Okay, then we discussed about the receptors, different types of receptors. Then we studied about the sensation. Okay, we defined special sensation organs as compared with the generalized, we can say, the sensory organs. Then we defined the ear in detail and their applied physiology. So thank you with having me. Have a nice day. Bye.